What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with another Adam and the Ants reaction, originally from Kings of the Wild Frontier, though I am working from the Adam Ant compilation Antics in the Forbidden Zone. And the next tune is Los Rancheros, which I believe roughly translates, or maybe directly translates, to the Ranchers, and in a Spanish language idiom, which is to say we could be talking about Spain itself, but of course Spain in the Americas had many colonies that were eventually independent nations that still spoke Spanish, so I feel like it's possible that this could be in the original Spanish context, in an American Spanish-speaking context, or in the world of Adam and his ants, meaning not necessarily either of those places or linguistic cultures, but more just drawing upon a phrase for their own purposes. And given the independence and eccentricity of the music I've heard from Adam and the Ants so far, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a bit divorced from any historical or specific cultural context, but I'll see what I can catch on a first listen. Once again, shout out to Han Solo for sending me this compilation. This is Adam and the Ants, originally from Kings of the Wild Frontier, but heard here as part of Antics in the Forbidden Zone, and the track is Los Rancheros. Definitely a bit of a frontier kind of sound.
They'll hang me high, still mustard. We'll survive. There's money over there, but not for long. Soon my worries will be gone.
What a hilarious song. So, Definitely a bit of a like frontier, fistful of dollars, gunfighting movie, but specifically in like, the Spanish California or the Old West when Spanish language was still spoken in a lot of, small towns and ranches, indeed rancheros, but at the same time, like, silly in a way, like, or maybe not silly, maybe that's the wrong word, but definitely being a bit, like, light and fun with it, and, like, with vocals that sounded maybe a bit with that, like, Spanish flair, but also almost like yodeling. And yeah, so maybe not exactly like a, who is it, Enrico Morricone, I'm trying to remember the composer of those famous spaghetti westerns, but a bit of that again, like frontier rock sort of vibe, but with a Spanish flair and also just a bit of zaniness at the same time. Like there's like a wood tap rhythm, but also again those like guitars which sounded very like rural, rustic, frontier in their sonic character. And then, yeah, I'm not sure what to make of the lyrics. I didn't really catch a lot of them, although, the chorus was definitely, as I said, it had a bit of flair to it, a bit of that, like, yodeling sound. But there was, like, a wood tap in there. There was some, like, rhythmic, percussive elements that, definitely had my brain sort of rolling over and over with the rhythm of the tune. But, yeah, seemingly like an atmosphere, like a vibes kind of tune more than maybe telling like a full elaborate story, but definitely a bit eccentric, a bit zany. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing what people have to say about this one. I feel like I have less of a clear interpretation than maybe I did with Ant Music, where even if I misheard one or two of the words, I had a sense that it's like we're setting ourselves apart and we're doing something different from what everybody else is doing. This feels like it's we're almost doing like a cosplay of a spaghetti western in a like old Spanish hamlet with like gunfighting sounds and so on, but in our own crazy way. So in any case, let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.